We are live. Okay.
So now we're recording.
Hey, everybody. This is episode 39, Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame trailer. I'm your...
Why do you sound so miserable?
I know. Are you okay?
I'm your,
Did that truck cost a lot and now you're also grumpy?
wicked. I'm pissed off that my van is gone, okay?
Oh,
It's gone.
okay. Marcus lost his blankie.
Hi, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
And we are Working Class Nerds.
We're the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, March 15th, 2019. You can find this Captain Marvel is Truly a Girl podcast on Google Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. You can find me on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern. That's NickVern. In this week's episode, we're talking about Captain Marvel and the new Avengers Endgame trailer that just dropped today with none other than Ariel. Ariel is my sister and our current resident comic book specialist and Marvel movie enthusiast. So without further ado, Ari, what have you been up to this week?
Hello, I love that title. I feel like that's a really honorary title for someone who doesn't actually read a lot of comic books.
Well, for somebody that doesn't read a lot of comic books, you sure know a lot about comic books.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, so you read the cliff notes of comic books.
Right.
That's how I got through high school.
All right.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so this week I've had a ton of exams. I'm in college. I just had spring break the week before, so I kind of was coming back to like 3 exams, which I don't know why my professors did that, but they somehow did.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Can we just say most people go to like Cancun on spring break or, somewhere tropical or at least go lounge and don't do anything on spring break. Ari had spring break the week, 2 weeks before mine is. So I was still in school. And one day I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the library to down at UConn to study. And she's like, oh, is there someplace I could study? I'm like, I mean, yeah. Do you want to come to a different college's library to study on your spring break? She's like, yeah, I have 17 exams next week. I'm like, oh my God. All right, I guess. And then I get there. I get a spot with one of my friends from class who he happens to be from Ireland. And he's, I'm not going to try and do an Irish accent. I'll butcher it. But he asked the same question. Basically, it was like, oh, hi, I'm Mark. Why aren't you drunk right now?
He did, in fact, say that exact question. And I questioned it myself, but hopefully I did well in my exams,
Right. That's all you can hope for.
But in the meantime, I've also been watching a lot of like cop-based material. I didn't even realize that until I was kind of trying to think of different things I've been watching or listening to. Everything's kind of like true crime related.
Yep.
On a much like cheerier note, I've started watching the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It is
funny.
Like Office, Parks and Rec style show. And it's a good one to kind of have on in the background too. Like you don't really need to like super pay attention to watch it, but you kind of get the gist of it, which is very nice when I'm trying to study.
Right.
It's good background noise, but then when you catch the funny part, you laugh your ass off and then you go back to studying.
Yeah, it's really good, lighthearted. And then another show that I've been watching, which is complete other side of the spectrum, is Hannibal. I don't know if you guys have ever like heard of that show. I'm watching it on Amazon Prime. It was like really big in like the 2013 like Tumblr era. Everyone was like Hannibal Lecter. But I just started watching it and oh my God, it is so creepy. But really? I love it. Yeah, it's like
I don't really like to get into the true crime shows. Maybe I've never really been into them, but maybe it's just because I work in an ER, so sometimes I'll see the aftermath of the crimes.
Yeah, that could.
It's like
the show Hannibal really jumps into like the psychology side of because it's kind of before Hannibal Lecter was caught as like a cannibalist.
Yeah,
so he's just working as a psychologist.
Yep.
And it's really like the psychology behind like detectives, the FBI, and serial killers and things like that. So it's really interesting. And then a podcast that I've been listening to, which is also kind of follows a true crime theme of it all, is Last Podcast on the Left. It's like these four, I don't know if they're actual comedians, but they're like four like funny guys who they'll sit and just talk about like true crime or different like conspiracy theories that have like happened in history.
Whoa, Marcus, you should see if you can come on as a guest. I'm kidding.
And it's so funny because it's like these like horrible, awful, like gruesome stories that they're talking about, and they're just making jokes throughout all of it. So it is really funny.
That sounds it. I'll have to, what's it called? Last Podcast on the Left?
Yep, Last Podcast on the Left.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I've been up to. School really controls my life.
I hear you, sister.
Well, that's why you go to school, is for it to control your life. So then when you're done with school, you can make 100+ G's a year and enjoy life.
That's the goal.
Jinx.
You owe me a beer.
Which we will be in Boston soon, so you can take him up on that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep, PAX is coming soon.
PAX East.
So, I have a lot to say, Nick.
Oh, you're going first? I thought I was going first.
Well, there's some kind of big stuff going on, and
oh my God,
I like to mix it up.
All right, fine.
All right.
So what have you been doing? Did you ever fix your PC or what? What's the deal?
So Medulla helped me. I had there's an insane amount of stuff on my computer that I can't erase. And it's because I have 32 gigs of RAM or some shit, and my operating system runs on 180 gig solid state drive or 240 gig or some bullshit like that.
Okay.
Either way, it's fixed. I finally played Anthem.
Wow.
Marcus
is making the how do I put this nicely face.
No. It's fun, but every time I play a game that's not SOTOR, I feel like I'm cheating on SOTOR. Yeah. So it's not like
because you are.
Right. I enjoyed it. I was like, oh, this is cool, but I'm gonna go do some dailies in SOTOR.
Yeah.
The game looks beautiful. I don't really see why people are complaining, but then again, I did the tutorial in like the first 2 missions of the whole game. So
that's it.
Yeah, so like there's who knows how many hours left of content to do.
Yeah.
So either way, I did get to play it.
Right.
But now that like all the big games are starting to come out, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get the Division 2. And then like, and it comes out tomorrow, and all I've been like, I've watched a few trailers, watched some gameplay videos on YouTube, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this game.
Division 2?
Yeah. And
I have I'll let you finish, but I have a theory, a plan to get you to play it more. So go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna play it. It's not gonna happen.
I think it could.
There's no way. Like I'm not gonna. It's an MMO.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not gonna invest. I can't invest. The only game I think I'm actually gonna play, other than Kingdom Hearts, that is fast and easy, is Mortal Kombat 11 when it comes out in April.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because
we could probably play that at PAX.
Exactly. And we'll probably like come here before the podcast
and just kick your ass a couple times before the show.
And it's completely satisfying
right
when you rip my heart out of my chest and then take a bite. Yeah, and then take a bite out of it. So that's a game that I can play, because even before I play SOTOR, play 2 fighting matches and then move on.
Right.
Okay, I got my fix and go.
Yeah.
Or like even like a racing game where you race one race and you're like, all right, to the other game.
Right.
And then I realized that I had 690 something gigs of Steam games.
Yeah, you have a crazy backlog of Steam games.
So I got to just delete them. And
yeah,
Medulla was trying to get me to delete them, and I was like, no, I'm going to go back. He's like, are you ever going to go back? Yes. He's like, no, you're not. Like, it's
not going to happen. Plus, you can always just re-download the games.
But then I'm always worried that I'm going to lose the save file.
The save files are in the cloud on Steam.
Not all the games. You have to enable them.
Oh, right.
Either way. So speaking of Medulla.
Yeah.
I love a challenge.
Medulla oblongata.
Yeah. I love being fucking challenged and to prove somebody wrong.
Oh, okay.
All right. So there's a boss in SOTOR.
I thought you were going to say he challenged you to go play your old Steam backlog.
No, because I would lose. I would never take that bet.
Okay.
Right?
Well, at least you're realistic.
So there's a world boss in Section X. His name's Dreadtooth. Okay. And
I think I fought him.
You probably did with us. And so you can fight him at 1 stack to 10 stacks.
Yeah.
And like you put this, like you sprinkle your special juice on him, you spray him, you skeet him, and he gets stacks.
Yep.
Okay. And when you fight him on 10 stacks, you get this thing called an amulet.
Okay.
I'll talk about the amulet later.
Okay.
But every time you kill him, he drops a mask. So what you need to do is go into the Operation Terror from Beyond. Nick, don't jump in the lightning.
Right.
On hard mode.
Okay.
In between the first boss and the second boss, there's a bridge.
Yep.
Underneath that bridge is a boss called the Dreadful Entity. It's a hidden boss.
I'm disappointed he's not a troll of some kind.
Well, I've never seen him, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
Okay. But you have to, in order to go fight that boss, you have to do it in hard mode.
Yep.
All 16 players need to be wearing that fucking mask.
Wow. Okay.
So, and you need the amulet.
Somebody needs to have.
Somebody has to have the amulet.
Okay.
Because if you go in to fight that boss, it's just as soon as the fight starts, everybody's dead.
Without the amulet.
And without everybody wearing the mask.
Okay. Got
you
it.
need 16 people, and you have to all wear the mask. So Medulla is like, you can't get that done. I'm like, what? Really? And he's like, I'll give you 100 million credits
if you can
you can make it happen. And then he tells me the easy part. He should have left this part out.
Yeah.
He's like, and I have the amulet. I'm like, fuck, all I got to do is get 16 people with a mask on.
Right.
To be able, and I'll book it like a month in advance and we'll all go.
Just make it a mega event.
Yeah. See, dude, you're thinking like I'm thinking.
Right.
Winning here. Right. Give me my money. What did that Jerry Maguire say? Show me the money.
Yeah, exactly.
So the challenge is on.
Right.
And let me tell you, I'm not fucking losing.
No, this is like an easy 100 million credits.
Well, I wouldn't say it's easy because the hard part is when you go with groups, like it's hard to tell. Well, it's hard to tell somebody, hey, you just came with me to kill this Dreadtooth guy.
Yeah.
You can't take the mask. I need it.
Right.
So you actually have to run it multiple times to get everybody that mask.
That's true.
Then
or like build up like 10 or something for yourself to get extras.
We're probably going to need 2 more amulets. Here's the tricky part. The guy with the amulet, if you wipe, you can't go back for 24 hours.
The amulet guy?
Good. Well, yes. No, that amulet guy can't use the amulet.
Oh, for 24 hours.
So it's if you wipe,
you're
fucked.
So it's a one and
so
done.
I'm figuring we need 3 amulets.
So you have 3 tries.
And then we can pass the 3 around to different people.
Right.
And try again. That's the challenge ahead. So Medulla, get your money ready. Put it in the mailbox because I'm going to cash that check.
Right.
Anyway, what I've been doing in-game, other than Anthem, is playing the dailies, World Boss, Hive Queen. I haven't done this yet, and I really want to. My Death Star Troopers team, which is a hard mode team, is looking for an experienced DPS who does hard mode content. So if you do hard mode content and you can run on Sunday nights from 8:15 to 10:45 p.m. Eastern, the real world time zone, please message me, get a hold of me, all that. And it always surprises me now how much I mention the word Eastern. Because before I started playing SWTOR, I never worried about time zones.
Yeah, it's always just like,
but now I know people everywhere, and everybody has different time zones. But the real time zone is East Coast.
Right.
It's the only one that matters.
It's true.
So
it's entirely
anyway.
True.
And then the sad news is I got rid of my van.
Goodbye, Big Blue.
Yep, with the Stormtrooper on the back.
That's why Marcus was grumpier when we were pre-show.
Yeah, so Ari knows me pretty well, and she can call out my bullshit. And she was like, why the fuck are you in such a bad mood? And I'm like, the grumpy little kid. I'm not in a bad mood, stomping your feet. So I had to get rid of my van today. And I bought a big Super Duty truck and
F-250.
Yeah, and it's got 4 doors so I can put the kids in the back, which is awesome. But the big but here is I don't have Big Blue anymore.
Yeah.
And that was my baby.
Yeah, you had that thing for a long time. For
anyway.
8 years or something?
Exactly. So in SWTOR news.
So we're just not going to let me talk about my week?
I was going to say, what happened to Nick?
Wow.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you
see,
skip the script here.
Yeah, see, when I fuck it up. Oh, Well, I'm not sorry. So, Nick, have you done anything this week that is me not forgetting about you? Wait, is Nick actually here? Nick, are you here? Oh, there you are.
This is like every time we go on a family vacation and we don't bring Nick.
Yeah, it's happened before.
Home Alone.
But it's just my parents and I.
Right. Yeah, you guys went to Florida without me.
Yeah.
Or something. I forgot.
And it was probably the best vacation they ever went on.
Yeah, probably. Fuck off.
You mean that with the most respect?
Yeah.
Anyway, what have you been doing this week?
So I forgot to mention it last episode, but I've been watching Parks and Rec when I have spare time, like on break at work or before I go to bed or whatever. And it's really funny, as like everybody else knows. The first season basically sucks, but after that it picks up really quickly and it gets hilarious. Like I watched every single episode of The Office and I thought that was great. And I don't know if I like it better, but I'm laughing more out loud at Parks and Rec.
I think it's because The Office is such like it's focused on being in an office, where Parks and Rec, you get all types of people.
Right.
So you have all those personalities, where
right.
The Office is just the office culture. You have all the types of people, but inside the office, they're all workers.
Right. And it's like, yeah.
It's like a corporate atmosphere.
Right. The Office is, I feel, more about like the relationships between the people and what's happening like with those relationships. Whereas Parks and Rec, it's like, yeah, you have some relationship stuff going on, but that's not the focus. The focus is like the ridiculous things that they're doing, like with the town or like trying to get a park built or whatever. And like the comedy that ensues from that.
Yes.
So I'm really digging that. I know I'm late to the show on that one, but I just want to let you know what I've been up to.
I feel like The Office is like a lot of dry humor, where Parks and Rec, it's a lot of like quirky, cheesy, like funny slapstick type of stuff.
Right, which is obviously up my alley. I had a biochem exam Wednesday, which I'm just realizing is yesterday. So last night, when I got home, I just wanted to like relax and play some games. So naturally, I played Siege with Al some more, and we played, I think, 6 or 7 games, which is a lot because it can take like a half hour, 45 minutes or so. Well, they didn't all take that long, but it wasn't up to like 2. And the whole time, so there's two modes you can play in multiplayer on Siege. There's casual, and then there's ranked. And ranked, obviously, like at the beginning of a new season, kind of like Overwatch, you get 10 matches where you're in, and how you do in those 10 matches decides like what rank,
the preseason. Yeah,
what rank you are, basically. So we were still in the preseason, and I thought we were playing casual. So Al's like, all right, it's, I don't know, midnight or something. All right, I'm going to bed. I'm like, wait, I thought we were going to play, some rank matches to start chip away at those 10 to start, so we can get ranked pretty soon. And he's like, we all we did was casual. And he's like, dude, that wasn't casual, in his, Bulgarian accent. And I was like, it wasn't? So when did we switch to not casual? And goes, it has been not casual the whole time. So basically, I'm like, fuck, I was just like relaxing. A couple games, I think I got like 1 kill or something. But I get good on like 2, and I did mostly bad. So I'm going to be like rank plastic 4 or something.
So?
So it'll be a comedy show. I don't typically move up a whole lot of ranks. I feel I end up like winning a game, losing a game, winning a game, losing a game, kind of staying in the same spot.
I feel like a game like that, if you're not playing it all the time, you lose those reaction skills.
Right. And you have to like be caught up on all the new maps too, like knowing the map is really important.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. The new maps aren't always in ranked because they're not vetted.
Yeah,
they
not
don't have
perfectly like
exactly
made sure they're fair and everything.
Correct.
Yeah, not always. That's true too. Also, I saw a movie this weekend, which was pretty sweet, but I think we'll talk about that later. So now, in SOTOR news, ... Marcus.
Oh, game update 5.10.2. Heralds of Victory is coming. When game up 5.10
Jedi Under Siege launched, guilds received a boost in the form of new guild leveling and PvP challenge systems, as well as new management tools. Seeing guilds flourish from this, with game update 5.10.2 Heralds of Victory, we're planning on adding even more for guilds.
So the new feature is called Guild Heraldry. Basically, when you hover over a tune, you're going to be able to make your guild logo.
Oh, sweet.
So you're going to be able to see it.
What's yours going to be?
Well, it'll be the AIE one. They're not going to let me make that.
Oh.
But think about all the guilds in the world. And as we scroll down through this, and we're going to pause. Think about what people think about on a daily basis. Let's move on.
There's going to be some ridiculous logos.
Right. So Eric posted something about like the guild leveling yesterday. And what did he say, Nick?
He said, "Hey folks, when we introduced guild leveling, the point at which a guild will have completed all functionality unlocks within the system is when they hit level 64. At this point, they are eligible for the highest guild perks. This will only become possible after February 19th based on weekly XP caps. We wanted to spend time and recognize all of the guilds who reached level 64 during that week, as it meant those guilds have capped XP literally every week since guild leveling launched. Here is this list in order by server."
And if you're on this, congratulations. We're not going to go through all of them, but
there is one that we want to read. Marcus does.
All right. So
the guild name is...
Well, no. There's the big congratulations, okay? To Stroke My Wookie of the Darth Malgus server. They got guild first in the world, and they hit level 64. So I saw somewhere on Twitter or somewhere, somebody needs to get Eric Musco a t-shirt for celebration that says "Stroke My Wookie is number one."
That's
all right.
But
either way,
guild name.
So I don't know I should have looked this up. I think the AIE is in the teens.
Oh, that's good.
So this guild definitely was crushing guild activity to hit level 64
that fast.
This fast.
Right.
So anyway, so thanks, Eric. In AIE and guild news, tomorrow night, which is Friday the 15th.
Yep.
I am hosting our monthly Epic Guild activity in SOTOR. In this month, we're going to be doing PvP.
Yep.
Sorry. Come do some PvP. You don't need to be in the guild to do it. Basically, we're going to be doing like group v group. So we're not going to be actually going against players that we don't know. It's going to be mostly friend versus friend and trying out some maps and stuff like that. So hopefully we can get some of the bad feeling PvPers over there, and we can do a little ass whooping up on them. Just for fun, though, of course. Bring it.
It's not just for fun.
Bring it.
And if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org and get our Discord info, jump into the channel, and ask for a guild invite. Jump into the SOTOR channel specifically.
Well, if you want to find us.
If you want to find us. If you want to find other people in other games that AIE does, jump into their respective channels.
Or the Looking for Officer channel, because somebody can get you in.
Right.
But, there's somebody that has been on my mind for a while, B. Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
I saw him invite somebody, and it was so Australian of him to do that.
Yeah, he's so good at it.
Yeah, like
it's like when you're in that down under in the southern hemisphere, sending out guild invites comes with an extra flourish that it's just impossible to do when it's coming from someone in the northern hemisphere.
Right. And when somebody's like, "Oh, can you send me a guild invite?" His answer is, "No problem, mate." So
it just adds that extra touch that,
there's only one other person I know that can do that, and that's Zen.
Right. So Zen and B-Cavs, specifically, you need to ask for a guild invite. Yeah.
Anyways, Nick, you want to take a break so we can talk about this movie?
Yes. We'll be right back. And we're back. So today we're discussing the new movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain Marvel, and maybe later we'll dip into the new Avengers Endgame trailer that we got today.
We have to talk about the Endgame trailer because it was that good.
It was epic. It was one of the best trailers I've seen in quite a long time. Not because it showed a lot, but because it just gave us just enough to sort of chew on until the movie comes out.
I cried.
Marcus cried too.
Well, we're not talking about it right now. I have I feel like, because I know this is like the end of the Avengers as we know it.
I know.
Right? So like this is it. So I believe like they're going to do a huge like nod to Captain America, a big one to Iron Man. Like,
yeah,
the originals from the original movie, I think that are going to get a big hat like tip.
Right.
Okay. First things first. 1 to 10. Well, how do you rate Captain Marvel?
I'll give it a solid 8.2.
Harry?
Yeah, I was gonna say like a solid 8.
Really?
Well, okay. I'm talking like in the scope of Marvel movies.
Yeah, no. We're just talking about Marvel movies. We're not
Okay.
talking about the quality of movie.
Yeah,
I'm saying in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what do you give it? Okay, so you're an 8.2, Aries an 8. I think it's a 9.1.
I really enjoyed that movie.
So I'm
really surprised that you're the top rated one, the one who gave it all the shit earlier.
Well, I gave it. All right, you got to understand. I gave it more. The reason why I gave it so much shit was because of you. It didn't really have anything to do with the movie. It was all just to get you fucking fired up because you're a feminist, and anybody that like says anything bad, you're just like, wah! And you just go into like
the claws come out.
No, she turns into Goose. Anyway, moving on. So we're gonna move forward.
Oh, before we get too deep into this, spoiler alert. We're gonna go full spoiler mode. So turn it off if you don't want to hear about Captain Marvel spoilers.
We'll write if we remember in the show notes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, no, we'll write somewhere in the show notes like the timestamp when we start talking about the Endgame trailer.
Okay, yeah.
But I will completely forget about that before the end, so you better write that down.
I will.
Anyway, the reason why I'm giving it a 9, and I was the biggest skeptic on it, is because of the way the story was told.
Okay.
If you watch all the origin movies are always like, okay, I'm this guy, and then this happens, and now I'm this guy. Right? Where the movie started off, and she was already Captain Marvel.
Right.
And
basically,
they made it.
She has the powers.
Right, she has it, and I was blown away because I was like, wait a minute. How are they going to do this? Are they going to go back in time? And it was basically they pulled the old amnesia thing.
Right.
Which made a lot of sense. And every time they mentioned, like, she was like, I don't remember, they would, like, focus on that little neck dot thing that was in her neck.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so this clearly has something to do with it.
Right.
But for that reason alone, the way they told the story, that's why it's so high ranking, because I was immersed from the beginning. I think she played a great job. I think Nick Fury, that was his best performance in all of his movies, next to Mr. Glass and in Pulp Fiction. I think he did such a good job playing Nick Fury, or I should say Samuel L.
Yeah.
And for that too, like, his role was awesome. Yeah. And you got to see the Nick Fury before he was
like
the
head
Nick
of
Fury.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
And it was a cool thing when you just mentioned S.H.I.E.L.D. that he was in S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the day.
Right. He didn't
a
always
thing.
run the show.
Like, because when he showed up, I thought he was just a regular cop.
Right. Yeah, he was just an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But my point is, it got a 9 because it was fun. I didn't get bored at all.
Yeah, me either.
I
was engaged the whole time.
Exactly. Like, I wanted more content. I wanted to know more about her, and they fulfilled all of it by the end of the movie.
Yes.
In my opinion.
I agree. Gary? So why do you... Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like the reason why I ranked it an 8 as like a standalone movie, I definitely enjoyed it. I can't say that I like hated it or anything like that, but just as like a standalone, it was like, it's like good, but it's not like Black Panther, you know what I mean? Or like, like Civil War. Like, I don't think I would, I definitely would go see it again, but I think in like 5 to 10 years, I'm not going to look back and be like, oh, like the movie. Like, if you're going to like go back and watch Marvel movies, like Captain Marvel, like I could say that about like Black Panther, for instance. But as a part of the MCU and as part of like, compared to like some of the Thor movies or some of the like Iron Man 2, it's definitely a lot better than those ones.
Or Ant-Man. Either Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
Well, I just think they were like, okay, we need Ant-Man in the movie.
Yeah. So
we're going to give a
couple movies together.
Yeah, we're going to throw a couple movies together, which they were fun and they were lighthearted and all that stuff, but they're not at the top of the list.
Right.
Now, I'm going to bring this back to, I completely disagree, because like Civil War wasn't that great, in my opinion.
I wouldn't put Civil War up in the top 3. I definitely agree with
the top 3. I'm just saying it's not. I think Captain Marvel was way better
than Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War. And I've never saw Black Panther.
What? That's probably, honestly, I think there's a strong argument to be made that it's the best movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think for me, it's like Infinity War #1 and then Black Panther like 1B or 1A and 1B or something like that. They're both wicked good movies. Just like as a standalone movie, Black Panther's really good. And it's also a cool character. I think the fact that like his suit can like absorb stuff and then it's projected back out is pretty badass. And he's bulletproof.
A lot of my friends that have never seen any of the Marvel movies or have no interest in comics or superheroes at all saw Black Panther and really enjoyed it as like a movie and like had no idea about any of the cinematic universe or any of the other plot lines or anything like that, and were still able to like follow along and know what was going on and things like that.
Well, was it more of a superhero movie or just a good movie? You know,
no, I think
it won an Oscar.
I think it did. It won Best Soundtrack, I think. But it was also nominated for Best Picture.
Right.
Yeah.
So that says something.
Yeah. It was really good. But anywho, back at the ranch here. For Captain Marvel, I gave it an 8 because I think
8.2.
Sorry, 8.2. 8.2 because I put it, not quite in that upper echelons to pull out my SAT vocab of Infinity War or Black Panther.
So what you're saying is it was like your SAT score, mediocre.
No, it was good, not great.
Sorry,
SAT score wasn't that bad.
I'm kidding completely, dude. You got into college, you're good.
That's true. Good, not great. I'm all riled up now.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot. I think, like you said, one of my favorite parts was it wasn't such a linear story path, like timeline wise. It gave you, sort of the middle. They put you in like the middle of like her getting her powers and stuff, and then backfill that her past as the movie goes along, which is kind of nice because it's like, I almost feel like when it's so spoon fed to you in a linear path like that, when it's like, like you said,
like the original Spider-Man movies,
right? It's like I'm a dork. I get bit by the spider. I beat up the bully. Now, I'm starting to discover my powers. Here's the path. It's almost like insulting to your intelligence as a viewer. You know what I mean? Like, give me something a little more complicated and let me figure it out. Because like figuring out is part of the fun of the movie, and that made me enjoy this one a lot more. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, I also liked how this really felt like not even just like an origin of Captain Marvel, but an origin of the whole SHIELD like unit as a whole.
Right.
Like I know we were around before because you see that Nick Fury is like a low-level SHIELD agent in the beginning of this, but you kind of see how he becomes higher up in it, and you see Clausen, the beginning of Clausen, when he first comes in, and he kind of like trusts Fury even though he shouldn't have in that one little scene in the back stairwell.
Well, wait, that wasn't Clausen. That was the Skrull. What's the Skrull's name? He was Talos. That was Talos dressed up as Clausen.
I know. I think that was Clausen.
Yeah, it was really Clausen in the stairwell when he was like, "Oh no, they're not here.
I thought that was
move
Talos
along,"
too.
and he kind of winked at.
Really, Clausen. Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. Well, anywho.
And then you also kind of get to see a little bit more of the timeline of where the Tesseract was, too.
Mm-hmm.
Which
you didn't know it was a Tesseract,
right?
Yeah, you didn't know until the ending of it, but it's interesting. You kind of got to see how SHIELD, like got back the Tesseract, or even I think it went from OG Stark picked it out from the bottom of the ocean, and then it went to Marvel, who was the one who created like the generator and things like that, and then it was lost for a little bit with the Skrulls, and now it's back with SHIELD.
Right.
And that.
Oh, that's cool.
With the pinball
machine. That timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the flow of the movie was fantastic. They gave you the emotional parts. They gave you the action scenes. Like it was a great pace.
Yeah, I like the pacing a lot.
I mean, there was only one really, really cheesy part in the whole movie.
Yeah. It was really just the song choice that went with a particular scene.
Yeah, like I felt like it was almost too like
on the nose, I think you'd call it.
Well, I don't get that reference. Can you?
So like, what was it was the "I'm Just a Girl" song.
Yes.
What was she doing in that scene? I forgot.
That's when she like broke free and became like Captain Marvel.
It was See, like on the nose means like too directly like in the theme. Like, I get it. This is supposed to be like she's empowered, and then it's
this is a movie for women to feel empowered,
right?
And that's awesome. But
it was like the song choice that goes with it. It's like, I'm just a girl, and it's like, I get it. She's a girl and she's strong. That's the whole point of the movie. I don't need the song to reinforce that. So I thought that was a little cheesy and on the nose, is what you're saying.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like right in your face, to where it's hitting your nose.
Right, like they could have picked another song.
Yeah, that was like less, also badass, but less like girl power.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Harry, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even notice it happen until you got after the movie and you guys pointed it out. So like, I don't know, for me it wasn't even like a conscious thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
But I did feel like there was a lot of like, she's awesome because she's a female, but
that's exactly what we were thinking.
Yeah,
I actually flexed my muscles and was like, no, because she's a girl. And
but it also, I feel like they kind of made fun of itself in a lot of points of the movie too, where they were like aware that she's awesome because she's a girl and that's the whole part of the story. But there was a lot of jokes about that too, which is what I like. They kind of poked fun at it, that they knew a lot of like male comic book
nerdy
people are not gonna like a strong female character coming in and being the one who
saves the whole universe.
The whole day.
Yeah,
but they do. I felt like they poked fun at it. There was a lot of critics were saying too that they didn't find this movie funny at all, which I was really surprised because I was like cracking up throughout a lot of this movie.
Me too. I laughed a lot. And to go off before we move on to the comedy part, I thought for most of the other like sort of empowering parts of the movie, I think they did a good job with it, and it wasn't so like in your face and direct, and it was like genuine. You know what I mean? I think genuine's the right word I'm looking for. There was a lot of genuine moments like that where I could be like, okay, that's really awesome. But yeah, just that one part. It was really just the song choice, I guess. That's my whole point. It was a little too on the nose. But yeah, I thought a lot of the rest of the movie had some good comedy elements. I thought maybe it was just because Marcus called it, but the second post-credit scene where Goose throws up the Tesseract, I was laughing a lot, as you know. I thought that was ridiculous, probably because Marcus was like, all right, this is going to be something stupid. The first end credit scene is like actually some story for you, and the second end credit scene is always something stupid. The cat's probably gonna like throw up the Tesseract.
And I know, and we're doing this really lighthearted, so we're not actually following the plot of the movie. We're just kind of thinking stuff and putting it out there.
Yeah, I have some questions.
But like talking about the last plot, like you can see Captain Marvel in Endgame. Like that's not really needed, is it?
Yeah, I didn't think that message. So like Marcus is talking about after the first. Was it the second end credit scene?
No, it was the first.
After the first end credit scene, there was a sort of a title card that flashed. It's like, you can see Captain Marvel in Avengers Endgame. It's like, of course you can. But I guess there's enough people that like casual fans that just pop into these movies. They might not realize that it's all continuous or something like that. Or some, I don't know. I guess there's some.
Yeah, I also, some people were talking about that too. And I didn't really think about it until someone else mentioned it. How like it kind of spoiled. Well, I mean, of course, like the end credit scenes will spoil or tease a little something from the movies. They kind of spoiled how Captain Marvel comes into Endgame.
Right.
And I feel like that should have been a lot bigger of a plot point. Like, I feel like it would have been cool if it just showed, like Captain America, Black Widow, and the Hulk, like working on the little pager thing and trying to get the signal out.
Well, I think
then you get a glimpse of like the shiny, not like her just flashing in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people were saying how like it was very like anticlimactic.
Well, I don't think that's the real release of it.
Yeah, I think
that's just going to be a deleted scene, and we're not actually going to get that.
I hope so.
I can't imagine that that's going to be in the movie.
Also, that's a little cheesy. If that was in the movie, that's a cheesy intro for her. Anyway.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be
Where's Fury? Like that was.
I think it's going to be. You're going to see her like fly in or something, or like throw her weight around a little more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then. Something like I think if I had to guess, in Endgame you're going to see something like she's going to get involved in a fight somehow away from the other Avengers, like on her way to answer this call from the pager, and then she's going to fight some baddies in some capacity on her own, and then finally get to the SHIELD headquarters or wherever they are with the pager, and then say, "Hey, I'm here. Where's Fury?" You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a little more sort of theatrical, her actual on-screen intro, and then that's her introduction to the rest of the characters.
Then, speaking about the planet, C-53.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that they named it C-53. Then they brought, when she landed, S.H.I.E.L.D. is there.
Right.
And Nick is like, we're trying to find people like you.
Right.
And which means that, like, what did they know about before Captain Marvel?
Right.
Or is Captain Marvel the first of that superhero?
Well, no, she's not, because that was set in the 95 or something like that.
No.
Oh no, well that's later. Sorry, but like
when he first met her, that wasn't 95.
No, it was later. You're right, because it was after she.
No, it was like 1989,
something like that.
It was the 90s. No,
I think it was the 90s.
It was the late 90s because of the people were talking about the different like blockbuster references.
Oh yeah,
right.
It's like that. It's all 90s, late 90s when she comes in.
But my point is, S.H.I.E.L.D. knows about Captain America from the 50s, but they still think he's dead.
Right.
So they know of superhumans. They just don't know of like.
But he's a superhuman. He's not a superhero.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point.
They created Captain America.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or even like he's a superhuman, but they don't really know about like what type of super alien races.
That's true. Like the Kree or the Skrulls or like the Asgardians at all or any of that stuff.
Right. So I guess for anybody that's out there that's listening to this, like, I don't have that answer. Is this the first encounter with a superhero
that S.H.I.E.L.D. came across?
Yeah.
Maybe. That could be. So then what's the point of S.H.I.E.L.D. then, I guess? It's just like an intergalactic alien patrol squad type of thing?
Well, I think so.
It's just at Roswell or Area 51.
That's
you
true.
never know.
Yeah,
like, they could have the white aliens with the black eyes just in a tube. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Independence Day with Will Smith.
Okay.
Marvel's project was called Project Pegasus, and that's something that was brought up, and that was like part of like early S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
It was brought up in the Avengers, and it's you kind of see the end of it in the Avengers movie.
The first one?
Yes. It's how they like the Project Pegasus is trying to weaponize the Tesseract, and then when I think it's Iron Man 2, Tony Stark is just like it's like he just mentions it really quick. He's like, bring up files from S.H.I.E.L.D. of like this and this, but one of the things he says is Project Pegasus 2. So you kind of see a little bit of that, the just beginnings of it.
Right, because he's trying to tap the power to make his chest thing. His powers, because in Iron Man 2,
he's got to swap it out, right?
Yeah, he's got to swap them out because he's burning out the Iron Man.
Right. So, but obviously we've talked a lot about, some of the cool plot points. Is there anything else that really stood out to you? Foreshadowing things, storytelling elements, anything like that really popped out that you want to bring up?
I thought it. People kind of gave grief about it, but I thought it was really like cool how at the end of it, when Nick Fury was typing out like the name of like the S.H.I.E.L.D. project, and he saw the like Avenger on the side of Carol Danvers' aircraft.
Yes.
And then it's like the Avengers, and that's kind of how you get the name of it. I thought that was really cool.
Well, that's, for me, it's like almost like I'll bring it to Star Wars, right? That's fan service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To us, we like it, and of course, there's going to be somebody out there that's like, oh, that's just dumb. That's how we named it, the Avenger Initiative. Come on, like,
right?
But actually, it was heartfelt. I mean, I got goosebumps during the movie many times because of the nostalgic moments.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to see more.
I do too. I want like Captain Marvel 2 or something.
Well, it's not even Captain Marvel, but like the way they told that story was great.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, I don't look at the reviews because, you can review a bad movie and then I love it.
Right.
And I think it was so good that they should take this mentality of a plot, the plot and
structure.
The structure of it, and put that into other movies.
Right.
As they're bringing out new characters, give us a flavor of this. And I think that is like Black Panther. No story was ever told like Black Panther was. And I didn't see it yet.
Yeah, I think so. Black Panther was great.
I guess I should see it, huh?
Definitely. Is that why we didn't do an episode on it way back when it came out? I think, because you hadn't seen it yet. And then we got caught up in other things, and time kept ticking on.
I guess the next question is, do you think Captain Marvel coming out a month before Endgame is going to like hurt Captain Marvel, or do you think it's going to benefit the MCU?
I think it's going to benefit the MCU. I think that because this movie kind of had the almost like political backing to it of like first female character for the Marvel universe. It's another strong lead for like young girls to look up to. It's gonna get a lot of viewing itself, and plus a lot of the reviews now are originally they weren't good, but now coming out, a lot of people are starting to enjoy the movie and going to see it. I feel like it will get the pickup it like needs, and then I feel like once the general public starts to watch Endgame, once it does come out, people might go back to watch Captain Marvel. Like the people who are more of like the just general audience, not the super diehard fans, are probably going to go back to watch Captain Marvel to kind of catch up on what they missed, since she seems like she's going to be such a huge aspect in Endgame.
Right, that's a good point. I think it's I don't know. See, I don't know a whole lot about like movie release timing stuff. I think they just I don't know, about a month before Endgame, but I feel like they kind of had to wait just because of spoiler stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, Captain Marvel happens pretty much in isolation from any of the stuff that happens in Endgame until the end credit scene. You know what I mean? She doesn't really get involved in any of that, the other movies really until the end credit scene. So I guess for that you kind of have. I don't think they needed to wait quite so long, but I think it is a nice tie-in because like now I'm all hyped up for Endgame, and I'm like, okay, great. I only have to wait a month. Now I don't have to wait 6 months. You know what I mean? It's almost like sort of a, as far as hype, like something that like a trailer would do for you. You know what I mean?
Would you say that if they came out with Endgame first and you saw Captain Marvel and then you watched this movie, would it have been as good because she was already in that movie?
No, I think you need that character arc first. You need character development, is part, especially in the big team up movies like that. And part of the reason why I think Justice League sucked and wasn't nearly as good as either any of the Avengers movies is because you didn't have the character development to care about those heroes when they're on the screen. Because in the team up movies, they're not on there for very long. They only do little bits and pieces. You know what I mean? So you have to get pumped up and know, she was an Air Force pilot and she had this happen and blah, blah, blah. And all the Tesseract stuff. Then you see her on screen for, even if it's only 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is, you're pumped to see her when she comes on. Like everyone in the theater is going to be like, fuck yeah, when Captain Marvel comes on in Endgame. You know what I mean? Or like in Thor, when he finally gets involved in Infinity War, you're like, fuck yes, you have 3 movies worth of Thor, like build up just to all this. And finally, it's like he comes and kicks ass. You're like, thank God, let's go Thor.
Yeah,
we need that character development.
I agree too, because it's kind of like you have Black Widow, who
is awesome in every single way.
Yes. I think Marcus has a crush on Scarlett Johansson. Go ahead, Eric.
She could be this really badass character, but I just don't care about her because you really
never got a backstory.
There's not a lot of backstory to it, and I feel like if they just showed Captain Marvel without giving her that backstory, it would have just come off as like this clumsy, quirky, like confident girl is coming in to save the day. We don't really know much about her, but all of a sudden she has these like ridiculous Infinity Stone powers.
Right.
It's kind of like whoop-de-doo, but once you get the backstory of it, it's like, oh, you realize that she was like brainwashed and manipulated, and she's this awesome fighter pilot with a really good family, and you get to see her like the emotional side with like the little girl Monica, who also is a little Easter egg, which could be a cool thing in the future, but we could talk about that later. And it's kind of made you like care about her as a person, and it made her more relatable. So once you do see her in Endgame, it's gonna be like, oh my god, yeah, like you glow and beat that person for the whole 5 minutes that you're in the movie, you know.
Right.
You should probably be in it more than that, but you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to be in the movie.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot.
And so the way she feels for the Skrulls It was a complete plot twist.
So
And
I didn't get to
expect
share my
that.
part. That was what I was gonna say.
Oh,
Was like the thing that was
I wanted
so
to talk
cool
about
to me was the Skrulls being the good guys. Basically, the whole movie you're set up to think the Kree are being attacked by the Skrulls, and they're these awful people, the shapeshifters, and it turns out that the Kree are like eradicating the whole species of Skrulls basically, and they're just trying to run and like hide and live someplace peaceful, but the Kree keep fucking them up, which I thought was really cool because I think in the comics the Skrulls are like the bad guys too.
Yeah, a lot of like big comic book fans were really like mad about how they kind of wasted the scrolls because I forget like the like comic book plot that it just takes place, but a lot of the Marvel like superhero characters have been like replaced with scrolls, and it's this whole like invasion of the scrolls, like different plot line. There's huge villains, and like so many people were like excited to see if the scrolls are going to play like a huge part of like being like something in the end game, but there's just kind of like, nope, they're the good guys. So,
They're just oppressed people.
Yeah, I think they're still going to play like a part in. I hope they still play a part in Endgame because that would be kind of cool to explore that whole identity, like switching
thing. Yeah.
In Endgame. But I know a lot of people from like the comic book point of view were disappointed with.
But that could be the scrolls that are on C-53 that have been in
hiding, or whatever.
Hiding for a while. You don't know that like that group of scrolls, wherever Captain Marvel was, ran into other scrolls, and they actually are taking over planets.
Right.
So there could be a whole race of them somewhere
that are actually assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
I forget the name of the character, but it's the whatever the main scroll guy is supposed to be like the main villain in the
Talos.
Yes.
Talos.
That's why people are kind of like, it's a good guy. I love that character though.
That was cool. I like that whole plot line.
Yeah, Nick, you kind of were wondering like who the actor was.
Oh yeah,
and it was the guy who he like changed body, like the boss of Nick Fury.
Yeah, so the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. I forgot his character's name. I can't find it quickly. Yeah, the captain of S.H.I.E.L.D. basically. That's Nick Fury's boss. Talos, the Skrull, like impersonates him, and in real life, the actor played both characters. So like obviously in the Skrull, he has crazy prosthetic makeup on, but as Talos, and then he's just a human as the captain from S.H.I.E.L.D. But I thought that was cool when I looked it up afterwards that they were the same dude. I'm like, I wonder who that voice is,
Yeah, and it's funny because I guess he naturally has an Australian accent, and that's what he used the Australian accent when he was the Skrull, and then used his American accent when he was like the captain of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it was kind of like herself when he was the Skrull, and then the fraud when he was the American captain.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little tidbit to put into it.
Yeah, it's like almost like it goes along with the twist that like the Skrulls are secretly the real people, not the evil people.
People.
So, Marcus, were you going to say something?
No, I think I'm just honestly, because I think it kind of sucks. It's awesome that the Endgame trailer came out today,
right?
But it kind of sucks that it came out today because I had so much to talk about Captain Marvel.
And you just keep wanting to dive into the trailer.
All I keep thinking about is Iron Man sitting in the sand out of the cave, and I know.
Like, all right, so let's get through a couple more things on in terms of Captain Marvel. Then we'll do a deep dive.
Yeah, I want a cool little tidbit that I saw when I was kind of looking up Captain Marvel is the daughter. I believe her name is I couldn't figure out if her
Monica.
Yeah, is it Monica? Is her name? Not her mom.
Yep.
I think so. We'll go with Monica. We'll call her Monica. If we screw it up, people, go on iTunes, leave a 5-star review, and tell us how much we screwed up the name of this little girl. But it has to be 5 stars. You can say whatever you want. That's all. Hey, go ahead, Ari.
She actually is a like superhero later in the comics, or like in the comics when she's older. She's a superhero Photon, and there's a picture, or not a picture. It's a shot of her mom in her jet. And or like fighter pilot, whatever. And on the side of it, it says like the mom's name and the mom's
call sign?
Nickname. It's Photon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I
call back.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get to see maybe possibly Monica in Endgame. That would be kind of a cool little like heart-wrenching moment for Captain Marvel. But
Yeah, because it's way in the future now. Because this
yeah.
is set in the 90s, Endgame's basically present day. So Monica would be all grown up, and maybe she's got superpowers. That would be cool.
Yeah, so it was just a little Easter egg for the comic book fans that I thought was cool. Who knows?
Ari, I'm looking at your notes. I think one of the interesting things that you pointed out was that she can interact with different Infinity Stones, most likely, which would be cool.
Yeah, I saw that because it's kind of like the only characters that we've seen so far who have been able to like harness the power of the Infinity Stones have to have them on them.
Right.
Vision has to have the
Soul Stone?
Soul Stone, thank you. In his forehead, or he has to have it like on his person. Same with Thanos, had to have all of them in the gauntlet, or have to have some type of tool to harness the Infinity Stones. Whereas
Right.
her, it's just in her body, it's in her nature. And in the end of this movie, we're just seeing her start to harness her powers, or start to just slightly understand them. So I think by the time the Endgame comes around, she's gonna be a big bad. Kick some butt.
All the way to Pizza Hut.
Yes.
Yep.
Kick some butt all the way to Pizza Hut.
Just that one moment where she like her chains are broken and she flies and she's like stopped all the bombs from hitting Earth.
Right.
Or C-53.
It was,
and then she's like standing in front of the dudes in their ship and they're like,
yeah, it was Ronan too.
Like, yeah, and they're like, oh, we better get out of here. We'll be back. You know what I mean? Like
Team Rocket's blasting off again.
Exactly. Like you're not coming back. And if you do, you're gonna get your shit fucked up. So stay the fuck away.
Step out, bitch.
But another interesting like thing of with her not having to like actually have the Tesseract and still have the Tesseract's powers, if she can do that with that Infinity Stone, could they do that with the Time Stone? Like, is there other possibilities of like different? Could they actually harness the power of other stones without actually having to physically have the stone? It's kind of an
interesting. Yeah, it's just like her whole shtick is she's channeling the power of the Tesseract without having the Tesseract because she got like blown up by that engine.
Yeah.
That the Tesseract was powering. So could other people, without having the stone, channel the power of the stone? That's interesting, especially if like Dr. Banner gets involved in like studies her, or like some of the people from S.H.I.E.L.D. study her, and maybe they could derive, get that channeling power to someone else, or even Doctor Strange or somebody like that could use his mystic powers or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
That's a great point. I never even thought of that.
Kind of knew something was going on. It'd be interesting.
Right.
And how it's going to all tie in. So she leaves a Furia pager.
Right. And she goes to like help find a home world for the Skrulls.
Correct. Basically. She's going to like find a home.
Yeah.
And so Fury's got this pager and years and years and years go by and
he still has the pager and never used it.
Right. And now he's Ash.
Right. But the pager's not Ash.
Correct. So they find it. And they call.
Yeah, and they call.
Or no, it was already calling.
Yeah, Fury called it, hit the button before he Ashified.
Right. I'm so dying to know how she's gonna play the part in it to bring this all to a close.
Right.
Because somehow, some way, Endgame trailer again.
I know
shows Iron Man back.
Right.
And like all like.
Yeah, before the other trailer, he was just floating out in space.
Right, exactly. So clearly, spoiler, he's coming back.
Right. All right. So last point before we get into the trailer, because I really do, and I think we're droning on a bit. But Ari, again, you had some great notes here.
Thanks.
How Nick Fury lost his eye is hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I forget what movie he says it, but he says like last time I trusted someone, I lost my eye. And then you see in this one, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's just a little cat. Like it's not that big of a deal." And he just scratched by the cat.
He scratches. Yeah, the cat scratches his eye, and that's it.
I think it's funny that like the cat is like this huge, dangerous like alien. And he doesn't even lose the eye from that. He just loses the eye from the cat scratch.
Right, the regular old cat scratch. All right. So also the fight with the old lady was hilarious. You're correct.
Yes,
that was great. We did see that in the Captain Marvel trailer. So on to Avengers Endgame trailer number 2.
Wow.
Initial impressions. Marcus is saying wow.
It for me, I feel like it's going to, I'm going to say it again. It's bringing back the core characters. And I think this is going to be fan service. It's going to be intense. And when he was like, and this is where I got like, because Iron Man is my favorite comic book character all time.
Right.
And, him like, oh man, it feels like light years ago that I broke out of that cave and became Iron Man. And look where the fuck I am now. I'm on some spaceship in the middle of nowhere dying.
Right.
And it was so heartfelt because, he's like, where the fuck how did this happen?
Right.
And I think that's the way everybody's thinking.
Right.
And what I like about the trailers, nobody has seen Thanos.
Right.
He's just like,
poof.
Yeah, he's over there, buddy. Don't worry about him. He's over there.
Right.
In the all of the both trailers so far have been focused on the characters, the superheroes, and not the bad. I mean, you saw his armor, but that's not him.
Right.
And getting into the deep of the trailer, it shows how everybody is so driven and they're going to do whatever it takes to stop this.
Right.
One of the most powerful moments of the trailer for me is when Black Widow is shooting her gun at the target. Like, she's going batty on that target, like boom, 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 clip, boom, 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 boom. And you're like,
holy, and frankly, she's putting everything in like an 1.5 inch diameter radius.
Well, yeah.
Which as expected, but she's just being badass. I'm like, holy shit, she's prepping for war.
Right, and you see, like, Captain Marvel looks.
Even, I don't know if she's prepping for war or trying to cope.
That's true, too. She's like, yeah, it could be just therapeutic.
Well, whatever. We can
go into that theory afterwards, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Captain America is so serious, and I just feel like everybody is like, whoa.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm curious on, because you see Banner and he doesn't say much.
Right.
But didn't he say in Infinity War, if Hulk comes out again, Banner's not coming back?
Something like that, yeah. I think so. It was either Infinity War or no, it was Thor Ragnarok. He's like, if he comes out again, I don't know if I'm coming back ever.
Yeah, because the Hulk didn't come out in Infinity War.
No, he did for like a second, and Thanos beat the shit out of him, and then he never came back out because he was like, I don't know, embarrassed or afraid or whatever the deal was. But yeah, it was crazy. So
I think I think there's definitely now I completely forgot about that whole Hulk aspect.
Right.
I hope that there's gonna be a big reveal with that, like, because Hulk was so lame in Infinity War.
Yeah, he's gotta be badass in this movie to make up for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be some crazy plot line that happens with him. I hope.
Yeah. For me, a couple things stood out to me. First off, the first section of the trailer where it's like the flashbacks of the heroes, and it's all in black and white except for certain accents are red, and I think the red at least symbolized, for me, it was like people dying a lot, and then and then our heroes that were left had the red on their various aspects of them.
Yeah,
it was Thor's cape or like a wire in Iron Man's original suit from like that he burst out of the cave with, or Captain America's red gloves. And for me, when I saw the red gloves for Captain America, it was almost symbolic of him having like blood on his hands. It was almost like all of our main characters are looking back and they feel guilty that they couldn't stop Thanos, and they feel like they have blood on their hands or blood on them from all these people that died, And I think even one of the dialogue pieces is like all these people. I think about all these people that died, and they're just reminiscing about it, and we have to do anything we can to stop them. Oh my God, I forgot about Marcus is playing the trailer for me. How about Hawkeye got a crazy mohawk, and oh my God, the flashback of him teaching his daughter how to shoot. I'm so convinced. Ari and I were talking about it before, that his family's dead, and that's why he went rogue. And
of course it is. They turned into ash,
right?
And he just went fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There's no other way that Hawkeye would be back in the business. There's no other way, unless because he quit to protect his family and be with his family.
Right.
And so now he's all of a sudden back in the business, and it's like you get that flashback of him teaching his daughter how to shoot with a bow and stuff. It's like, oh, his family's dead.
Right.
His family's dead, and that's why he's. Oh my
god, it's a heart-wrenching moment when you see him, like, you see the flashback, and then you see him, that shot we got in the first trailer too. You see him, like, turn around, and he's in Japan or wherever, and he's just, like, a miserable, like, he's got bags under his eyes, he's just off, he looks terrible. And so yeah, that was heart-wrenching. So, the second thing, so towards the end of the trailer, you see all of our heroes and Tony Stark not in a spaceship, so they're all on Earth, and they're all wearing these crazy suits that look like the Quantum Realm suits.
Yes,
from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, which that's mystery solved. That's how they go back in time. They go into the Quantum Realm and go back in time. They don't have to use the Time Stone, or maybe they do later. I don't know. I hope Doctor Strange comes back, but
I think they're all coming back.
Well, yeah, but I hope he comes back. I wanted Doctor Strange to be involved, like, with Time Stone stuff, not just like, oh, hey, we resurrected everybody, now they're back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think no matter what, you're going to have to stop Thanos.
Yeah, I know, for sure. And then
they have to. Yeah, they have to, because even if they go back in time to be able to fight him,
right,
they're still going to have to stop him, because at any point he can just snap.
Right.
Again and again and again and again.
Right. I don't know if he can, because the gauntlet got a little screwed up, and his whole left arm got jacked up.
Yeah,
too.
But we don't know that 100%.
That's true too. We're all speculating.
That part is speculation. Like, they're saying he's weak. Sure, maybe he is.
Right.
Well, I mean, we're not. It's not just speculation. We're going off of what we saw from the last movie, how we last saw him.
Yeah, it was all like the gauntlet was all charred. Like, his arm is all jacked up. Look up a picture if you can. Take your time. But another thing I wanted to point out, this is part of the narration towards the end of the trailer. It's like something to the effect of, we can't let this happen again, like, no matter what it takes. Like, I think over and over, it's something to the effect of, no matter what it takes, we have to fix this, or no matter what it takes. And I think somebody, either Cap or Tony, is going to sacrifice themselves to undo the snap, or maybe both of them. I don't know, but somebody like that, and some of the original cast here is going to, like, sacrifice themselves to undo it. I think.
Yeah, I think Tony plays a big part. We're kind of going back to him on the spaceship.
Yeah.
Like being in the cave and things like that. It's really him being back on this desert planet. He's trying to makeshift this ship back to the Earth and stuff like that. It really, like, parallels him being in the cave trying to save himself. And I forget her name, but you see Gamora's sister with him.
Nebula.
Yeah, and she's, like, taking apart her hand, like her own body, to as Tony's trying to work on the ship. And it's kind of like a nice moment too, because Thanos, I forget his exact quote, but it said something like, "You're not even worth, like, scrap parts," or things like that. And now here she is playing a big part in getting Tony Stark back, and hopefully, winning the end game. So it's like a nice moment for her, and then it's also a good moment for Tony with the parallel of him back where he started. Back of just gotta get back to survive. And then Doctor Strange, too, in Infinity War, kind of said that, Tony needs to survive. Like, Tony needs to live. And just seeing him back again as, like, the parallel. It's like, something big is going to happen with him. And I agree with Nick. I think there's definitely going to be a big sacrifice. And I think, if not Tony, either Cap is going to be the one to go. It's going to kind of be the end of their character and the end of, like, the original set or original generation of Avengers.
Right. So, Marcus, did you find that shot of Thanos?
No, I'm not finding the status of him. They're talking about how when he made the snap, how the gauntlet fused to his hand. Oh. It's not damaged; it's fused. So it basically, I'm gonna say it melted onto his hand. So maybe it's damaged, but
there's something happened substantial when the snap happened, like regarding him and the gauntlet.
I can't imagine all those Infinity Stones on one thing is healthy for anybody.
Right, exactly. Though I have a bit of a crackpot theory. Yep. I sent Ari the link earlier, but it was a 14-minute video. I don't know if she actually watched it. So,
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'm gonna summarize the 14-minute video. Basically, a whole bunch of things happen. There's a theme throughout all of the Marvel movies that Iron Man's in regarding his left arm, and coincidentally, the Infinity Gauntlet goes on your left hand. So in the first shot you ever see of Iron Man ever is his hand in Iron Man 1 holding a whiskey, or I'm assuming scotch, in a glass. And I don't think he's even left-handed, but he's holding the glass in his left hand. In Iron Man 2, his armor gets attacked on the left side, and it's his left arm that gets jacked up by I forgot, the guy with like the energy whips. Then in something else, he says, like, somebody asks him, "Are you okay?" But I can't feel my left arm. My left arm is numb. It's all these things with Tony's left arm gets all jacked up. In Infinity War, his left arm armor is what Thanos rips off. And so he only has his right arm armor left. And when they're both on Titan. So like there's this theme of Tony's left arm getting jacked up. So
is Tony gonna have a stroke?
No, I think the theory was that it's like that was funny. The Easter egg, and why I wanted to point out that Thanos' arm got a little jacked up when he did the snap was maybe Tony's going to put on the gauntlet, undo the snap, and maybe he'll lose his arm in the process, or die. I'm not sure what. But I think there was so much stuff that was like his left arm. It was always his left arm, so maybe it's just like, you know, the writers or whatever being like, haha, screw his left arm, and it's like a joke that they just kept going with. And it just coincidentally happened to be that the Infinity Gauntlet goes on your left hand too. But I thought it sounds silly, but I think it might be, you know, foreshadowing of Tony putting on the gauntlet at some point, and then something happening to his arm in the process.
That would be really interesting.
Right. Yeah. It's so subtle throughout all the movies, you know?
That'd be insane if people guessed that right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess the cat puking the Tesseract.
That's true. I couldn't believe that you were right. I could not. I freaked out.
Anyway, how do I say it the right way? I really believe somebody's gonna die for real.
Yeah.
Like I really believe like this is it. So we're gonna lose a main character. Like we lost Han Solo in Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Right.
Like we're losing somebody in this,
right.
And it's not like, okay, we're bringing them back. They're donezo.
Right.
But then, so if they get all the stones and they don't get destroyed, somebody could just go back in time and bring them back.
Right. That's true. So
the quantum realm aspect of it, though, I agree, because there literally would be no other reason to have Ant-Man in these movies,
right?
If they're not going to do the quantum realm.
That's true. Yeah, the quantum realm's got to be involved.
It's not like he's like an interesting character. I mean, like he's an interesting character. I shouldn't say that, but it's not like he's like a Black Panther where it's like the standalone movies did so good. Oh my god! It's like no, Ant-Man was okay. Ant-Man and the Wasp was okay.
But Ant-Man in the comics was pretty awesome.
Right.
Yeah, but they're still just the fact that they're still like persisting to.
Yeah, they're a second tier. Ant-Man is a second tier comic hero.
Right.
Comic book hero.
The fact and all the other second tier guys got ashified in the snap. You know, besides Spider-Man, but.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying.
Kind of first tier.
Just the fact that they're still pushing that he's here means something, you know. It means that he's going to play a bigger role in it, and I think it's going to be with the quantum realm, like Nick said.
I agree, 100%.
All right, so April 26th.
Yes, we're going to see it.
Oh yeah, well, that's a 9 or 10 o'clock movie watch.
Yeah,
like the night it comes out.
Yeah, maybe we can score the night before tickets or whatever.
Yeah. When do they go on sale? They're not for sale yet.
I have no idea.
Well, soon I'll just watch.
Ari will be out of school and she'll be back in Western Mass.
Oh, that's pretty epic, because then we can all go together.
Right. We can stand in line.
Yeah. Oh, change your tune. Woo. Yeah, we can go together, but I'd still like to be in Boston.
Yeah, it would be nicer if you were all here.
We will be March 29th. So, quick plug. March 29th is a Friday.
Yeah.
We will be in Boston, and we're doing an AIE meetup.
Oh, yeah.
I should have said that earlier in the AIE section.
That's true.
There's a few of us from the guild that are going to be there. We're all going out to dinner. So if you're going to be in the Boston area, 4 packs, let us know, and you can come with us to dinner.
And I'll be there too.
Ari will be too. You can meet her in person.
Live
From
dinner. And just so everybody knows, if you come to dinner, Nick's paying.
I did not sign up for this.
Thanks, Ari, for coming on the show.
Thanks, Ari.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.